Alright, photo 1, this is your presentation over unusual perspective, bird's eye, worm's eye, and close-up views. Okay, let's start off with bird's eye view. Your bird's eye view is a topic as if viewed from a bird, up above, looking down. Make sure there's some height. Okay? It serves different purposes, but basically, like I said, you're looking down on a subject. So, some tips for this. Climb to the top of a building or a ladder. Place yourself higher than your subject. A photograph of a person taken from the eye level of a slightly taller person is not bird's eye view. You need to show distance, show height, okay? Show space between you and the subject with your camera. All right, so here you have a bird looking at birds from the bird's eye view. Look at the height here, okay? Look at the distance. That's what I'm looking for. You can go to a parking garages as cars drive by. Sometimes it is how the objects interact with their environment. So here is the shadows that are important, not the subjects themselves. That's a very high altitude range. So I'm just showing you the dramaticness of a bird's eye view there. If you've got 2 stories in your house, you can do that. But give me something exciting going on. Somebody playing Monopoly or a family game or a dinner or something besides an empty living room. That's boring. Okay, you can do some cheesy people and shapes. You can go to the mall. Actually, you can't right now, but you know, same thing with showing levels and heights. You got levels going on in through here. These are sheep, not maggots or rice, so you can get too high of a perspective for bird's eye view. This is just being the right place, right time, but those are birds in the shape of a bird. Someplace out at the lake, like by the stone gazebo, you can get some looks like this. Okay. Buildings high up Topeka High. I know that we're not supposed to be there right now, but you know, maybe leaning out your window. Okay. Once again, the way that the shadows interact with the environment. More cheesy stuff. And then, of course, you've got your animals at home. Now, make sure that you have your animals comfortable before you take pictures of them. Let them be used to the camera, and then you can take their picture. Okay, worm's eye view. View from below or from an inferior position. You are down low looking up. Okay? It is done to make things look tall, strong, and mighty. All right? So, some tips. Laying on the ground, climbing in a hole, places you under your point of view. Your clothes will wash, I promise. Okay, photograph of a person taken from the eye level of a slightly shorter person is not worm's eye view. Once again, show space between you and the subject with the camera. Okay, look up. All right, between these 2 photos, I love the clouds in this one. But this one right here, this is giving me more of what I want. This is showing the building tall, strong, and mighty. Okay. Trees, shoot vertically. That way you can show them going up. Okay. Laying on the ground is a good way to get worm's eye view. You know, things are starting to bloom right now, so you can get the angles of flowers laying on the ground. Trees. Okay, you guys have done some shots like this at school. You can start to tilt the angle now. Look at the perspective of how the grass cuts through and where the ears cut through. It's almost symmetrical with the cuts. Okay, this is a high contrast worm's eye view, and then here we have a slow motion, shallowed up the field worm's eye view. Okay, so lots of concepts combined for this photo. Photograph taken at a close range or with a long focal length, that means zoomed in, that's your close-up. Here are some tips for your close-up photos. Woohoo! Get close to your subject, okay? But don't get too close, because then remember, it's like when your hand is directly up against your eye, and then I told you to pull it back so that way you could focus. Same thing. Sometimes you can be too close, and your camera will not be able to focus. Okay, how do we know that it's cold? Because she's got her hands wrapped in sleeves, and because of what's hanging outside of the cup, we know it's cold outside. It's not about the iguana, it's about the texture that's on the iguana. It's not about the motorcycle, it's about the chrome reflection of the motorcycle. By the way, see where the photographer captured themselves? Don't do that. That's lazy photography. Okay? Focus on the reflection. Okay, we know that a parade's getting ready to happen because the trumpet player is dressed up. Plus, we can see the reflection in the trumpet. This is about the juxtaposition of shiny to rust, the shiny next to the old. Okay, and then these are the old gnarly hands. Look at these hands. You know, they got the tattoos. They've got some texture to them. You know that the owner of these hands, he's seen some things. He's got some stories to tell. Okay, this tells us a story about a person who has stories. All right. And then this is taking one object and looking at it from multiple angles up close. Okay, just using a guitar. Here are some student examples. Here's a worm's eye view. You can see where they did the before and the after for the edits. Here is another worm's eye view. So we're getting a little bit up closer to our subject here. We got a nice bird's eye view downtown. They tilted the camera just a little bit, but that adds some nice effect for our view. Here's another bird's eye view. They used the stairs at school. And then here's another bird's eye view just using objects that were on a desk. Specifically my desk at school. Close up, this is a greasy bike chain. And then you have texture in the hallways with some nice bokeh going in there. And then, of course, the typewriter. Up close, got some nice texture going on through there with the keys. Okay? So, that is the end of Unusual Perspective. And so remember that you are working with bird's eye, worm's eye, and close-up views. Okay? Okay, good.